Hey, Vinyl Community Jeff back again with a little bit of VCLT time. So I got some VCLT in the other day that I wanted to share. I've given it a spin and enjoyed this, so I wanted to mention this. So I don't know, a couple weeks ago, week or so ago, Boz over at that vinyl channel reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey, I got this record by this band that I think you might dig, that he kind of described it as kind of AOR-ish, and he told me what it was, and I'm like, I don't know that band. And so I said, sure, I'd love to check it out. He didn't tell me which album it was. I saw that the band has like 4 albums out in their discography, early 80s band. So he sent it to me, Johnny and the Distractions. This is the one that actually looked, out of the 4 albums, this one looked the coolest. It Let It Rock. It looked like it was, you know, pretty edgy looking stuff. The band is your typical rock stuff. But I'm like, okay, out of the 4 albums, like I said, it looked the edgiest. Turns out that the next album, he said, the one that came after this, was actually a little bit edgier. But again, I went into it blindly, didn't know anything about them. They are an A&M record, so obviously they were on a major label, you know, at least based on Herb Alpert. He liked them anyway, so they fairly major label. So I threw it on, and I'm like, wow. I mean, so when I think of AOR, I think of more the smooth crooner type stuff, but it wasn't that. To me, it had reminiscent sounds of Eddie Money, you know, the Romantics, that kind of early '80s, just rock and roll. You know, the Greg Kihn, stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. I mean, it just like each song kept getting better. I'm like, why have I never heard these yet? Look at the Gold Stamp promo too. I was pretty impressed. I'm like, how did these, I don't know, they came out like in 1980 with the original album, then this was 81 and 82 and like 83 or something. They only put a couple albums out. I'm thinking that, you know, I was into heavier music in the early 80s, so these guys went under the radar. But I'm just surprised, you know, did they have videos on MTV? I mean, because we always saw bands like Eddie Money and Greg Kihn and the Romantics, all those type of bands in the early 80s. So I wonder, have we ever seen a video by them and just didn't know it? I just don't recall the name. But I was impressed. And so now I know if I'm out and about and I see any of the other albums on vinyl, I'm going to pick them up because it's just a solid, you know, radio-friendly rock band. So, yeah, if you haven't checked them out, check them out yourself. If you run across them in the wild, you might not be interested if that's the kind of style of music you like. And again, A&M Records, so, you know, they had some popularity, some push behind them, but I guess it's just one of those bands that slipped under the radar for me. But anyway, thanks a lot, Boz, for that. And anyway, check out his channel, and I will see you later. Rock on and rock hard.